You are now tuned in to Hits 92.3, where we take great pride in personal expression of one's feelings, thoughts, or ideals. What you're getting ready to hear on this show are the opinions of the hosts and their guests, and they do not reflect the opinions of Hits 92.3 radio station, the brand, management, staff, their respective advertisers, parent companies, or affiliates. Now stay tuned as this show begins in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Your friends and family will never know the truth. Like I up and left a good nigga out the blue. Already reaching out to women and the girls, I say forget it with you. Never seen to, never understood. Wish I could hurt you, but you'll never know this pain. Wish I could change you, but for me you stay the same. Wish I could take your heart and rip it, that's the least of what I'm feeling. But you good cause you got hoes you can't complain to. Can't believe that I ever tried to save you. Straight from mommy to Diana's little baby. It's my fault, I can't admit it. Stay too long and too committed. Man, I should've fucked that one nigga, at least he had good credit. Every time I let some shit slide, my soul died. Every text message I seen, I swear my soul died. And what I'ma have left to love on me now? And damn, I hope this shit just make your dad proud. And you ain't good for me, that's why I keep grinding. Wish this choice was harder, but you keep lying. We've been through so much, that shit don't mean nothing. When you fuck it up, that shit don't mean nothing. Now I'm back to loving me on my own. That's cool. I ain't even gotta pick up the phone. That's cool. I don't know now what I want from a nigga. That's cool. Cause I know I gotta grow on my own. That's cool. Let me feel good to be right in the zone. That's cool. Wish I could send it to everyone we know. That's cool. Tell your mama that her son is a hoe. And that's cool. Tell your mama that her son is a hoe. That's cool. And that's cool. 100 times I don't look like a fool. Want the hoes to know it wasn't you. That nigga got something to prove. You thought that you win, but you lose. Baby can choose, be just a tool, but somehow you get used. Who knew this hate would run so deep? But who knew this love would just free me? If it's been this good, then I know this better. That means gon' feel good when I find a nigga. Sad it won't be you. I'm sad it won't be you. I can't share good news on a good time, cause it still make me mad that you ain't mine. A sad and simple truth. It's finally the end of me and you. Now I'm back to loving me on my own. And that's cool. I ain't even gotta pick up the phone. And that's cool. I don't know now what I want from a nigga. And that's cool. Cause I know I gotta grow on my own. Yeah, that's cool. Let me feel good to be right in the zone. And that's cool. Wish I could send it to everyone we know. And that's cool. Tell your mama that her son is a hoe. And that's cool. Tell your mama that her son is a hoe. And that's cool. Now I'm back to loving me on my own. That's cool. I ain't even gotta pick up the phone. That's cool. I can't worry about what I want from niggas. That's cool. If I don't know what I want on my own. That's cool. Damn, it feel good to be right in the zone. And that's cool. Wish I could send it to everyone you love. And that's cool. Tell your mama that her son is a hoe. And that's cool. Tell your mama that her son is a hoe. That's cool.
Sleep in peace of mind, yeah, failed 1,000 times. Yeah, live a life of lessons. Now my wins they multiply. Yeah, checks of rapping, acting. Moves are calculated. So if you wanna holler, then Venmo me the payment. Cause I'm focused on the catalog. Bump whoever hating. I'm in my own position. And ain't no one adjacent. Yeah, always loving. Like the building up. To inspire is do or die on my clock, on my time, man. Y'all. Couple five balls, I'm a tough out. I'm a tough out. Couple new songs and they all out. Yeah, they all out. Couple round liquor on out, on out, on out. Finally up next, and we gone out. Finally up next, and we gone out. Couple five balls, I'm a tough out. I'm a tough out. Couple new songs and they all out. Yeah, they all out. Files away, but everything mine though. Need all of that. Why sign a deal for files that I own for me to give it right back? Need my contract, max, Lindor money, 10 plus independent grind on my own time. I don't race nobody else, but if I did, I'm clocking up Hall of Fame time. Florence Jordan, ayy, ICH, woo. I seen my life change before my eyes. Wait, the shit looking great. Cab side, right on the beach with a queen of mine. Think about everything I dreamed that I would get to live and still have enough to have scenic vibes. Couple fireballs, I'm a tough out. I'm a tough out. Couple new songs and they all out. Yeah, they all out. Come around like on out, on out, on out. Finally up next, we go now. Finally up next, we go now. Chilling with the gang, drinking all the brown liquor, thinking about the plans we working on. Gotta come quick, oh, nah, nah, nah. Oh, nah, nah, nah. Chilling with the gang, drinking all the brown liquor, thinking about the plans we working on.
Sky People Chief coming peace, love, and I'm just trying to see where you going with that on. You got cute for me.
Looking like my baby. I don't come in here unless they pay me. I've been here all night, I'm feeling wavy, but they closing down like the Calorie Road Macy's. Where we finna go, though? We can hit the time to take some photos. Girl, I got the smoke, but can you roll, though? You know I thought about you jumping on this pole. Go somewhere with all that over there you got. Running up my spot, do you running there a lot? You ran into a Roddy Rich, I'm good with the box. It'll be a remix, non-stop, let it rock. Look who's just got you for me, baby. I hope that I run into you tonight. The things you do to me, baby.
Lala, yeah.
Look who bringing back Jet magazines, ain't it? Beauty of the week indeed, that's a queen, ain't it? And she throw back on the smoke. I asked what it is, she said the presidential shit, not that tangerine, ain't it? She said, boy, stop. You thought it, you tried it. I said, yeah, whatever, if it's so that I'd buy it. Windows to your soul, girl, I love the way your eyes get. When I look into them, I fall in a pool of violence. That's just what it's like, I got a jet that you can pilot. When we see each other, always frequent flyer mileage. It's always a laugh, she be like, boy, why you so childish? Because the internet, she said, huh, jet be quiet. You know I'm a fool, Barrymore, I'm a riot. Like God is to a like God, I'm a lion. You can't make you, we ain't been a fast diet.
I just want to run my business and do ratchet shit with my friends. And that's it. That's it. That's it.
You are now tuned in to All Hustle and No Fear with your girl, the Hood Unicorn. Come on, let's go.
Back against the wall, last name against the ropes. Middle finger stretched, if you thinking it's a joke, tell my friend I'm about to blow, 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 about to blow.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is All Hustle, No Fear on Hits 92.3. And every morning you wake up with us because we rock your mic.
Mm-hmm. How big is your mic, Sunshine?
Big enough to interview you with.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How you doing? How you been? What's up, my friends? It's your girl, Sunshine Reigns, a.k.a. Griselda Blanca, a.k.a. You Need a Motivator, a.k.a. The Party Starter. But you tune in each and every morning with me because I am your Hood Unicorn. I'm here to wake you up with positivity, motivation, current events, and a whole lot of laughter. But today, I'm coming at you because we're gonna learn some things today and we're gonna be some adults, okay? Like, there are days and times where I just need y'all to be better and do better, and today is one of those days. We're gonna have a real candid conversation today with Miss Doctor, right? Did I say that right? Attorney. Okay, with attorney Brandy Reeves. She is running for Superior Court Judge right here in Fulton County, right?
Right here in Fulton.
Right here in Fulton. I'm one of her constituents.
Absolutely.
I like it when I'm a constituent. When I get the chance that I can vote like that, that makes me feel good because I can learn something and teach y'all something. So, as always, we've had this conversation before. One, if you plan on voting, I need you to know who you're voting for, and not only know who you're voting for, but what you're voting for. See, a lot of times y'all are treating this voting system like we still in high school and you just picking the person with the best flyers and the person who named you knew the most. And I need y'all to be better than that, because different positions not only affect you and your life, but they will affect the lives of your children and possibly your grandchildren, right? Especially with something like a judge, because judges set precedents. Okay, so what we're going to do today is not only are we going to talk to Brandy about her campaign for Superior Court Judge right here in Fulton County, but we're also going to talk to her about the position of Superior Court Judge, what it does, what we should expect from anybody running, from our candidates, what questions we should ask, and how we can find out some of this information just in case. You know what I mean? Because if it's an incumbent, meaning if it's somebody who's already been a judge, we definitely can find out if what they're saying versus what they've actually done corresponds, right? Because people will tell you on the campaign trail all day long what they want to do for you, but then when they get behind the bench, they might rule a little bit differently, right? So if it's an incumbent, we definitely want to go back and just check their record and make sure what they said they was going to do or how they said they were going to be is what they're going to do and be. Later on in the show, also, we're just going to have a nice little candid conversation about a couple of cases that have come across the desk of some judges. Look, I definitely don't expect you. Everything's allegedly. Everything is allegedly. Look, okay, and hey, she's not on the bench on these trials, so she can only say what she thinks. You know what I'm saying? And it's only a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We're not getting nobody in trouble, okay? And just learn as much as we can about Miss Brandy. So and also give you, the constituents, a chance to call in and ask questions, or if you're on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all of that, of course, you can always just put your comments in the comment section and we will definitely ask. All right, so to get this thing started first, hello, gorgeous. How are you doing? Good morning. Thank you so much for coming up and waking up early with me. I first want to say that interviewing politicians has been something that I've wanted to do and something that I've been really working on over the course of the last 2 or 3 years or whatnot. And I've met a couple of different people, and it's really great seeing people who want to give back to their community, who want to be stewards of their community, because
a lot of people are very selfish, and this is a very selfless job. You know, you're blamed for things that aren't always your fault. You know, depending on certain cases, you could definitely be a big face. You know what I mean? Judge Ito. It's judges, we can't forget their names. And it's all because of one case, you know? Let's start with why you're here. Let's start with that.
Why I'm here is because I want everyone to know what I have to offer. Right. Why I'm here, why I'm running for Superior Court judge is because I believe that there have been some missteps. There are gaps in the system that I believe I have the experience to fill, right? I've been practicing law for almost 2 decades at this point. I've graduated from 2 HBCUs. I've had the experience in both juvenile, municipal court, superior court, magistrate court, and just about the entire gamut outside of probate court in the law, right? And so in having this one-on-one contact, standing shoulder to shoulder with my clients, interacting with individuals in the community, I realized that, you know, we sit back and say, oh, I could do this, or this could be better. However, we have to be the change we wish to see. So one day, again, with all of that experience, I said, well, why not you? Right? If you have these issues with the system, you have this experience, you have this connectivity to the community, why not you? Why don't you do it, Brandy? What are you going to do, right? And so I think it's vitally important that we are the change that we wish to see, right? And so that's why I'm here, is because I believe that I can be the change that I wish to see in Fulton County.
So you've talked about a couple of different areas of the law that you've worked in. For the people who don't necessarily know what all of those areas do or what those mean. So you start, the last one that you said was probate. I know that's money.
That's probate is where your grandmama died, your mama passed away, you, your sister, your auntie, your mama, they all own the house now. Like,
right.
Who gets it?
Right.
How does this work? Right. And so outside of having assisted, you know, my own personal family and trying to get wheels together, that's what probate court does, right? Probate court also does adult guardianships, right? Conservatorship. So if you have an individual who is incapable of making decisions for themselves, probate court will step in and say, hey, we, the court, also believe, based on facts and circumstances, based on documentation presented to the court, that he needs an adult, or she needs an adult, or they, depending on your pronouns, need someone else to step in and make these decisions for them, because otherwise we believe that you're capable of making these decisions on your own.
So like Britney Spears,
absolutely,
what she was dealing with, and now what Wendy Williams is dealing with.
Hands down, probate court, you need some help. We're going to put people in place to assist you in making sure that your transition through life is absolutely on par with what you expect and what the law expects to be done.
Okay. Magistrate court.
Magistrate court is generally in Fulton County, the way it's set up is that those are the individuals that handle evictions, dispossessories. You get a note on your door, you're going to magistrate court. You didn't pay your landlord, he's going to file an eviction or what we call a dispossessory, and then you're going to magistrate court. Also in Fulton County, the magistrate judges handle preliminary hearings. So if you're charged with a felony, but yet to be indicted, but you're looking for a bond, the magistrate court is handling those cases right now. Across the state, different, jurisdictions handle those differently. But in Fulton County, if you're looking for a preliminary hearing prior to being indicted, those things are happening in magistrate court.
Okay. So I definitely want to come back to that one because I've got questions when it comes, baby. No, because look, for real. One, can judges help do anything with HOAs? Because this magistrate court and HOAs, they be out of pocket a little bit. And we having some issues in Georgia with HOAs and situations. And then can magistrate court also help out with the squatters? Because we're having a lot of issues in Georgia right now with people just moving into folks' houses and taking over, and they're using squatters' rights. And I need y'all to understand something about squatters' rights. Everybody who's mad about them, you don't understand the law, because squatters' rights are actually there to protect you from your landlord just being able to walk in your house and saying, hey, you got to get out. But there are people who learn about loopholes and who use the law unlawfully
Absolutely.
that have been circumventing certain things because of those laws. And so in my mind, is it legislature, or would it be precedent from judges that would change that? We could have that conversation.
Okay, well, that's the legislature, right? They put the laws in place, and then the judges rule based on what the law is, right? And so again,
we can't blame you. She said that's not me. That's not me.
Again, it depends on facts. And so that's why representation is important, right?
Right.
So the judge has all the facts. So if you come in feeling like I read the law on my own, right? I'm pro se. Pro se means I don't need a lawyer. I'm going to represent myself. I believe I'm intelligent enough. I'm informed enough. I'm going to go in and I'm going to do this on my own. Well, the judge is not allowed to assist you. Right. And so if you go in on your own, we can't tell you no. The judge can't say you cannot proceed on your own. You absolutely have a constitutional right to represent yourself, but they're not going to help you along. Right. Your lawyer, if you had one, is well versed on the law. Right. They absolutely can help you along. And so what happens is that the judge has to make a decision based on law and fact. And so if you come in not knowing the law or not having all the facts, then she or he is likely not to rule in your favor. Right. And so again, it's vitally important that when you're going into a courtroom, I say, look at the other side. They got a lawyer, you need one too. Right. Not because you can't do it on your own, but I went to school. I was trained for this.
Right.
So it's like going to a gunfight with a sharpshooter.
Objection.
You know what I'm saying? and you can't deny me. That's not how this works.
All I hear about boy going into court talking about, if you think I'm playing with a goddamn it. Objection, judge. Wait a minute.
And he got pretty far with that for a while. You know, but after a while, it became antics because you ain't had nothing else to say. Right. So you got to be prepared. If you're pro se or you're represented, you have to be prepared. That's how you protect yourself.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So one of the things that we've been seeing a lot on TikTok, and again, right now we're just kind of having a candid conversation. We ain't getting into the strong stuff yet. We just kind of having because we give everybody a little chance to get in and come in, sit down, get their coffee and stuff. You know what I mean? We don't want to miss the good stuff. On TikTok now, I like the science stuff and I fall deep down into science stuff, but I be falling into the criminal stuff sometimes too, because a little part of me used to want to be a lawyer. That's that Libra in me wanting the justice and stuff. But I've noticed a trend of the people not actually being in court and doing the virtual court. I would really like to get your opinion on virtual court. And in my opinion, just from the out, I haven't been to court. I haven't needed to go to court. Knock on wood. I won't have to go to court no time soon for nothing. Okay. But I think there's a certain respect and decorum that you innately have once you walk into that courtroom. You know what I mean? Absolutely. And I think because of COVID and because of this ability to go to court in your car or go to court in your pajamas or go to court at your kitchen table, you know what I mean? That people aren't respecting the judicial system, the judge or anything, because it's one thing to be talking junk to the judge and the judge is right there and so is the bailiff.
Absolutely.
And you can be held in contempt right now.
Absolutely.
It's completely different when they got to come find you or come to your house and get you.
Absolutely.
So, as a lawyer first or as an attorney first, but as a future judge, you like that, right?
I like it.
You like that. As a future judge, how do you feel about the whole internet court as of right now, instead of them actually? And my other question is, how do you get to do that? Like, do you opt in for that, or is it just the court system? Because I'd be like, hey, judge, I want to come. I don't want to do this like this. I want to meet you there. I want to come up there because I need him to show up.
Absolutely. So it works two ways. Okay. So courts have the ability to decide whether or not they want to be virtual or they want to be in person, right? Okay. And so what you find is that oftentimes a lot of the cases that are high moving child support cases, traffic cases at times. Now, City of Atlanta is not virtual. Everybody comes inside the building, but in other places, those high volume cases, you're trying to move people. a lot at a time are generally done virtually, right?
Okay.
You're talking about arraignment hearings, which means I'm just pleading guilty or not guilty.
Okay.
Oftentimes those can be done virtually, right? But to your point, as a lawyer, I like to be next to my client because my clients like to talk a lot. And so I'm like, hey,
Shut up.
I want to be able to nudge you, right? I want to be able to stop you. But when we're here and you're at home at your kitchen table, it's very difficult for me to say, hold on. Don't say that, right? You don't do that. Hold on, Judge. Now we're talking over each other. And before I can even nudge you or you look at me, right?
You done said something smart to the judge and it's a wrap.
We already there, right?
It's a wrap. You done messed this up.
We're knee into the situation, right? And so it's difficult at that point so it absolutely makes technology, has absolutely made it a little bit more difficult to interact with your client and a lot more easier for justice to be accessible, right? Because everybody doesn't have a car. Let's talk about it, right? And we want to talk about it. Everybody doesn't have the ability to get downtown. When you come downtown, you got to pay for parking. You got to pay by the hour. And if you don't pay, then you're getting a ticket, right? But if I can do this from my home, then I don't have to worry about trying to get on MARTA because I don't have a MARTA card. I don't have to worry about a babysitter for my kid. I don't have to worry about, whether or not my car is going to be towed. I'm driving on a suspended license, but I got to get to court, right? And so there are absolutely some benefits to virtual court, but there are likewise some gaps to virtual court when you're actually in the building, right? So you can communicate with your lawyer. There is something to judicial decorum, right? I had clients in the bed. Like, if you don't, hold on, Judge. Sidebar. And I'm on a cell phone on mute. Get up, put your clothes on, like sit up straight, right? Because we can still see the smoke in the background. Like those things. Those things still matter. Like you can't just assume because you're at home that we can't touch you. We got your address. And so it is important.
And listen to what she's saying. Just because you are at home does not mean we can't still touch you.
We absolutely can.
We absolutely can come and pick you up. Stop. Yeah, like come on now. Like give the judge some respect.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I've seen some crazy things across Instagram and TikTok where people are just talking crazy to the judge and stuff. And I really feel as though if you were in court, you wouldn't have that attitude about yourself. You definitely wouldn't have that attitude about yourself. So we're going to go to a quick commercial break right now. This is giving you guys a chance to, in the chat room, drop any questions that you might have for Brandy, whether it's about the position that she's running for. If you have questions for her, we're going to talk to her a little bit more about herself and let her qualify herself as an amazing candidate and why you should vote for her. Also, let us know when we should be voting. We're going to say this over and over and over again because y'all slow. I mean, y'all don't listen.
She said that I didn't.
And I did. Because we got to tell y'all this over and over and over again because this is important. It's not just about choosing your president. President is over the whole country, y'all. It's just you need somebody who is more in that micro area that you are in, that macro area that you are in. You know what I mean? We need people who are going to help us get sidewalks. We need people who are going to help us with redlining. We need people who are going to help us in our neighborhoods. You know what I mean? And so whatever that position is, you need to understand what that person is running for. And you need to know when to go to the polls because there are a lot of people trying to stop you from voting. Absolutely. And the fact that we have to continuously qualify that your ancestors died for you to have the right to vote. You know what I'm saying? Like it's people dying because they want to vote still. It's other countries where women don't have a voice. And I know what you're saying. It don't matter. It don't matter. My voice don't matter. My vote don't matter. But it does.
It does.
It does. Because right now you sitting here around two Black women who we know our rights have been taken away within the last 12 months.
Absolutely.
Roe v. Wade, right?
Absolutely.
Within the last 12 months, we've had rights taken away. And it's because other people that we voted into those positions voted. Whether they voted with us in mind, with them in mind, whatever, you got to get into the head of these people. And you got to know what their position really means for you. When is voting?
Early voting starts April 29th. And general election is on May 21st. It's a one-day thing. April 29th is early voting. You have a week from that Tuesday to that Friday to vote. After that is May 21st. That's the only day and the last day that you have the opportunity to vote for both your local elections and congressional seats.
Awesome. And where will those elections be held? Are they special elections? Like we have to go down to the courthouse to actually do it? Will they be closing schools and letting us do it? How will this work for
Those
us?
will be at your voting precinct. So if you're registered to vote, you can go to myvotegA.gov, and there you can determine where your polling location is. And so if you vote early, you can vote at the local recreation center, at the Fulton County Government Center, in various places. But on May 21st, if you decide to wait to the general election, then you will be required to go to your specific polling location. If you do not go to your specific polling location, you will be turned around. If you need to go somewhere more convenient, you need to vote early, which begins on April 29th.
Okay. And then one last question, just for those people who don't know, you need to know this too. Does this election considered one of those elections where your job has to give you the opportunity to go and vote, or is that only for the presidential election?
Every election.
Every election. There you go. So you don't have an excuse. And I'm asking that on purpose. You don't have an excuse. Because if you tell me, well, I couldn't go vote because I had to go to work. No, you didn't try to go vote because you had to go to work. Because you could have did one of three things. You could have said, hey, during my lunch break, I'm taking my 2 hours to go vote. You could have said, hey, I'm coming in 2 hours late to go vote. You could have said, hey, I'm leaving 2 hours early to go vote. And they can't do Walmart. Teachers don't count because they'll tell you to go vote on the day that they close.
She said that. Listen, this hurt. But go vote. You go 2 hours. Go to lunch, but also go to the polls and vote. Okay? Don't use that excuse to not go anywhere. I need y'all at the polls. Look for my name, Brandy with an I, not a Y. Make sure you get there.
Exactly. All right. So we're going to go ahead and go play some music real quick. We're going to check some of these comments in the comment section, and we're going to give y'all a chance to come back and definitely interact with us so that you know when we coming back to. Brandy, when we get back, we want to know all about you. Absolutely. All right, we're gonna get all about you. This is, and you know what? I'm trying to be better on the music. You know, we got company, so I ain't gonna play, too bad. Let's see what we got. We got Dope Diana. We got Dope Diana with Nunu right here on Hits 92.3, the real definition of internet radio.
Baby, come see me another day when money ain't no problem. And my Twitter account got about 5 million followers. I'm on a bumpy road, but bitch, I'm smooth and go like butter. Fly away like beauties do after their caterpillars. I'm changing, don't need a filter. Been vibing since I was a toddler. Got the juice from my father. Maybe that's why I bother to bring this light tonight and illuminate their tomorrows. Saving them from their sorrows. Hope if I lead, they follow. Cause man, we need a beacon. I'ma be that shit. Little girl made it off rapping, never sold a brick or hit a lick. Appreciate the little things, alleviate the lunatics. Then maybe then I'll take your shit. Cause baby, I've been thinking about it all day. Looks so good, I'll fuck you in this hallway. Trying to run the world, but I can't concentrate. Something like that Nunu and Rashad every Sunday night. Something like that Nunu and Rashad every Sunday night. Something like that Nunu and Rashad every Sunday night. Something like that Nunu and Rashad. Babe, I'm feeling better and I'm stormy weather. Run off endeavors. Picked my ass off the pavement. Thought I'd be there forever. I always think I know better. I always know that I don't. I'm seeing God as a humor. Sometimes Sometimes I feel like a joke. Grandmama laughing in heaven, still ain't done right with my blessing. You fresh air when I'm stressing. You make me feel like it's standing, flying away from this planet. You pick me up when I'm landing. I can't be so damn distracted. Gotta go through with my planning. I knew that we were meant to be the night I caught your show. And now we running shit, but have so very far to go. And all I need is you and me, and that's the only thing I know. So go ahead and drop them draws just like before. Yo, cause baby, I've been thinking about it all day. Look so good, I'll fuck you in this hallway. Trying to run the world, but I can't concentrate. Something like that new and Rashad. Every Sunday night, something like that new and Rashad. Every Sunday night, something like that new and Rashad. Every Sunday night, something like that new and Rashad. Something like that new and Rashad. Every Sunday night, something like that new and Rashad. Every Sunday night, something like that new and Rashad. Every Sunday night, something like that new and Rashad.
Can't let my heart show on my sleeve. Ain't missed the call yet from the streets. Spin round the block like I got beef. Baby, I'm like that, you gon' see. These are words of affirmation. You should want me to be more than another situation. You should want me to be more than another situation.
We double drinking, the vibe is peaking, we geeking. There's something speaking straight to my soul, fully breathing. She got the feeling like 90s R&B, I'm tweaking. To ever leave her, it probably never be a reason. A soul shaker, a twerker, a business owner, a real friend that's still cool if you don't talk, you grown up. A love pusher, peace empowerment, mamacita. Back when I met her, she was sipping a limerita. A forward thinker, still be throwing it back on me. And if I'm lagging, she gon' pick up that slack for me.
Can't let my heart show on my sleeve. Ain't missed the call yet from the streets. Spin round the block like I got beef. Baby, I'm like that, you gon' see. These are words of affirmation. You should want me to be more than another situation. You should want me to be more than another situation.
Big booty, slapping it when you get moody. Confident, you never tripping, I get groupie. Never dolo, ride with me even on promo. Album cover, even help me design logo. A fresher too, in it cause we got deeper roots. Remember boo, them balconies in our birthday suit. That yellow coupe, Los Angeles in that Pikachu. I peeked at you, and now I'll forever see the truth.
Let my heart show on my sleeve. Ain't missed the call yet from the streets. Spin round the block like I got beef. Baby, I'm like that, you gon' see. These are words of affirmation. You should want me to be more than another situation. You should want me to be more than another situation. You should want me, but maybe I'm from the wrong generation.
My name is Dr. Siobhan Fleming, and I am a proud candidate for Clerk of Superior Court in Clayton County, Georgia. I'm a product of Clayton County Public Schools, Jonesboro High School alum, a resident of Clayton County for almost 30 years, raised in Lake Spivey, and now reside in Lovejoy. I hold approximately 25 years of administrative, business, and clerical experience. most right here in Clayton County. Administration is the backbone to any business. The clerk position is a vital piece of the court systems. Superior customer service, organization, follow-up, and increased digitalization is what I plan to bring to the system. Visit me on the World Wide Web at www.voteforfleming.com.
We're back and we have Brandy Reeves in the building, and she is running for Superior Court Judge right here in Fulton County. And love it when y'all notice certain things. Shout out to admin King. King said, hey, ooh, it's a blazer day. Somebody trying to be grown. And y'all already know, you know what I'm saying? When I'm doing them real interviews, when I'm trying to, I gotta look like a professional. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get into certain rooms and stuff. You can't come up here with a hoodie on. You know what I'm saying? You gotta look like you could. You know, be fair. You know, but I gotta look like. Wait. I gotta look like. Hold on. I love it. So the comment section is alive and it has a lot of great questions out here. So we're going to start with our comment section here. And then if you have any comments on yours, we'll move into that. And then we'll also just move into who Brandy is and qualify you. They want to know, why should we vote for Brandy? And that's exactly what we're going to tell them, right? Absolutely. So one of the first questions that we saw that we love this. Someone said, you look a little young to be a judge, folks.
That's a compliment. I'll take that's a compliment.
Black don't crack.
It does not.
Okay.
It doesn't. Or take a little longer, you know.
But she did say that she's already been doing this for 20 years. So y'all do your own adding and subtraction. She said she ain't no child. Okay. But
not a child,
yeah.
but have several.
Right.
But I have straight out of high school. I went to college, straight out of college. I went to law school, straight out of law school. I got to work.
Okay.
And so there has been no gaps in education, which is why I can move forward. But I can assure you, I'm over the age of 35.
There we go. That good. I like that. I like the way she paused it. I'm grown. Yeah. With that being said, if there was, because we want to be the change that we see in the community, right? So for those little brown girls and those little brown boys and those Caucasian kids that are growing up and they watching you and they say, hey, I would like to do this too. What did that look like? What was that journey like? What did you have to go through, or classes, or just majors that you had to take or whatever to get to this place?
Absolutely. So I'll just share a little bit about myself, and that I was raised by my father. My mom died or passed away when I was 9 years old.
Sorry to hear that.
My father is a retired police officer who also went to law school. Crazy as it is, I didn't know until I said I want to go to law school. He was
really?
Like, I went to law school. I said, did you now? And just had absolutely no idea. He never took the bar. He decided after graduating from law school that he just wanted to be able to utilize that information to be an amazing officer, right? And so he was one of the first couple of classes of officers to integrate the Atlanta Police Department. When he got there, it was integrated, but there was still a lot of dissension. There was still a lot of segregation. There was still a lot of separation in job duties, right? And so I think just is in me innately. My mother, before she passed away, was a social worker in the prison system. And so again, I think it was just in me. But from law school, from going to Albany State University in Albany, Georgia, I wanted to go to another historically Black college and university for law school. There are only several across the United States of America, and North Carolina Central University is one of them, right? At that time, my brother was in the military. He was in North Carolina. So I said, I'm going to North Carolina, right? Also, Maynard Jackson, one of the prior mayors of Atlanta, graduated from North Carolina Central University. He was very inspiring to me. His persona, the way he got business done, his leadership ability inspired me likewise to go to law school. And so law school is a 3-year process. If you go to the night program, it may be a 4-year process, right? You take a break, it may be a little longer. But if you
get her done.
Get her done. It is a 3-year program. And once you get out, you take a bar. And you pass the bar, you're now licensed attorney to practice law. If you
now, is that bar across the United States, or is that bar for that specific state or county, or how does that work?
that specific state, right? But if you are like the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C., you generally can, because it's a district and not a state, you can generally waive in to that state, which means, hey, I did well enough here in Georgia, let me come over there, right? Because most of their laws are federal. And so you don't have to have a federal bar card to practice federal law. You just need to be barred anywhere to practice federal law. But Florida, by way of example, is by a lot of water, right? And so they have maritime law. So their laws are much different than those of us that are not as close to water. And so they don't allow you to waive in, right? You got to go back to Florida and you got to sit for their bar so that you have a clear understanding of their rules, their regulations, and their laws. And so there are other states that allow you to waive in, right? So I may be able to waive into South Carolina, or I may be able to waive into Texas. I may be able to waive into other states. Each state determines and decides how they would like for that to go and for that to work.
All right. So y'all learned something. Admin Anitra says, what are some changes that you would like to see in the judicial system?
What I would like to see is more empathy. What I would like to see is more compassion. What I would like to see is being firm yet fair. What I would like to see is more efficiency, right? We're talking about in Fulton County, there's a backlog. Backlog meaning we got a lot of cases just sitting around because COVID happened, right? And there was a standing order across the state of Georgia. Nobody moved. Everything is on pause, right? And so now for Fulton County, is one of the largest counties, in the state of Georgia, just a lot of cases, right? You got a lot of people sitting in jail and out of jail on unindicted cases. You have a lot of people sitting in jail and out of jail on indicted cases because the caseload is just so high that it's very difficult to move people through the system, right? And so Fulton County has hired new people, right? They have a division called ORCA, like Orca will, for whatever reason. Not really sure how we got there, but that's what they decided. That's what we're rolling with. Okay. And so, with that being said, they have hired a group of individuals, both lawyers, DAs, public defenders, case workers, case managers, court reporters, everybody to try to get these cases moving. And so, again, efficiency is key because people deserve to have their life back, right? Victims have the right to have closure. Moms of deceased children have the right to mourn their baby's losses without consistently going to court, right? Defendants have a right to know whether or not they're guilty or not guilty, right? Moms and dads have a right to know whether or not I'm gonna get custody of my child. Do I get to visit this weekend, right? And so efficiency is absolutely key and vital in Fulton County right now. And it's one of the things that I believe with my experience in administration will be able to assist in moving cases quickly and efficiently, yet proficiently through the court system so that we can all get back to our day jobs.
So it sounds like the court system needs some more folks, like folks is hiring.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's something for y'all to think about too. I mean, because there's a lot of different, right? There's a lot of different positions in the court system that you can get into that doesn't necessarily have to be a lawyer or a judge. Like she said, a court clerk. That's a good position to get into. Y'all make some money. Or the stenographer.
The stenographer.
Yeah, that one. That one. That be typing them. And they get to hit, baby, if you like gossip and you like hearing the that might be a good job to sit them to be like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that.
Well, that one's gonna take a little extra training and schooling. Generally, entry level, you can get in, and do well, right? You can generally get in entry level and do well in those positions for sure.
Okay. Let's see. Charles is here. Charles Goldstein. Hey, Charles, how you doing? That's a new name I haven't seen before. He said, what is your professional background and how is it different from your competitors? What is the benefit of that difference? And I'd even like to say, or ask, are you running to replace an incumbent or are you just running to be an additional judge on the docket?
I am running to replace an incumbent, which means that it's not an open seat, which is why it's vitally important to get the word out that there is somebody else on the ballot, right? Because if you do not go and find Brandy Reeves on the ballot, she will remain in that position, right? And so I am trying to unseat her, to be very candid, right? And
wait, you trying to unseat who? The other person, not Brandy Reeves.
No,
Brandy Reeves Brandy Reeves is trying to take the seat.
I am trying to.
She's trying to unseat the other person. We're not gonna say that person's name. other person, if you want to come in and say your position, I'm open to speak to everybody. It don't matter who you are, Republican, Democrat, independent, whatever. But right now we talking to Brandy. But Brandy trying to take her seat or his seat or they.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
so
you gotta say so much nowadays.
All of it. But my experience is, again, I've stood shoulder to shoulder with my clients in juvenile court with parents who have had their children taken away by defects, who've been alleged to be negligent or to have been alleged to have been too poor to afford food, right? I've stood shoulder to shoulder with my clients in Superior Court charged with felonies, charged with rapes, murders, child molestations. I've stood shoulder to shoulder with my clients who I saw on video had drugs planted on them, right? And so,
wait,
what? Crazy. I'm crazy. No, it happens, right? And so I likewise have the experience of actually being in the community. I am from Fulton County, right? I grew up in Fulton County, went to elementary school here, middle school here, high school here, graduated from the Benjamin Elijah Mays High School Academy of Mathematics and Science.
Okay.
And so I am a product of both Atlanta Public Schools and Fulton County Schools, right? And so this is the community in which raised me. Right. I likewise give back to this very same community. For over 10 years, I've coached a mock trial team because you asked me earlier about actually having access or seeing someone like me, seeing lawyers, seeing someone in the criminal justice system. And so to me, it's important to be seen. It's important for people in my community to know it can be done, right? I'm also a product of a single parent household, not by choice, but by chance. Regardless, the struggles are the same, right? And so I know what it's like to feel like there's not enough. I know what it feels like to not have enough support, right? Although I had people to rally around me, I didn't have a mom, right? That was a void. That was a vacancy that sometimes took me off track, right? I remember having one of my teachers having a conversation with my dad and said, Brady's a good leader, but she lead them in the wrong direction, right? She good, but straighten out a little bit. And so I realized that, and I began as I to grow older. I'm like, you are a leader, right? And you have the ability to cross lines. You have the ability to associate, to resonate, to communicate. And it's important that I give back to the community that gave so much to me, so that I can feel like I've returned the favor, right? I've returned the support system that was given to my dad. He never remarried. So again, he remains, I don't know about him being single.
Well, your daddy's single.
I ain't single, but I am saying, that he remains legally single, right? And so, it's important that the kids see people that look like us, that are relatable, so they understand you don't have to be perfect, right? But to your point, you got to get the job done. You got to do the work. If you don't do the work, there are no rewards, right? You reap what you sow. The Lord helps them to help themselves, right? And so you got to get in there. You got to get your hands dirty. You got to get boots on the ground. You have to do it.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Greg White is here. He says, as a judge, would you proceed over criminal cases or civil cases?
Okay, I think that's important. So in Fulton County Superior Court, we have jurisdiction over a lot of cases. You have jurisdiction over civil cases, family law cases, and criminal cases. And so the way Fulton County Superior Court is set up, there are two different tracks. So there is a track for family law cases where you only doing family law. Family law is child support, divorce. Child support if it's coming along with the divorce, right? As well as child custody cases, right? Those are family law matters. And then there's a track where you're handling criminal and civil cases. So on that track, if I'm handling felony cases on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, on Tuesday and Thursday, I may be handling civil matters, right? And so it bounces between the two in that way.
Do you get to choose what track you're on, or do they
you do not.
You get put on? Okay.
It's a rotation because it needs to be fair, right? If you're civil, if you are used to civil practice, I'm new to the bench, right? And so if I'm elected and I get on the bench, they may very well put me on a criminal bench because the learning curve is a little bit. It's a little less hilly, right? The learning curve is a little less because I'm very familiar with criminal law. I can get there and start working day one, right? I have experience in family law as well, but more experience in criminal law. And so if you're like, okay, we need efficiency, we need to make sure we can keep this calendar going without a lot of backlog, let's put Ms. Reeves in criminal. But I absolutely do not get to make that decision. That's a decision that's made by the Chief Judge of Superior Court.
Awesome. Okay, so I would like to just get in and have a conversation as to the principles that you do want to run on, the things that you want to change. You did say about the backlog. You said that right now, there folks is waiting. And I get that. That's the technical issue of it. But let's talk about the precedent that you will set in certain situations as a judge. What are some things that, if coming across your desk, you would have certain opinions on, I get it. You have, as a judge, you have to be biased, and each and every case is an individual case.
Absolutely.
Let's preface it with that. But you do have, like you said, you're coming from a place where you want to have more empathy. So child support, or let's talk about these kids. Criminal cases. It's a lot more people breaking in, entering, doing things. Just where do you stand on some of the hard issues?
Okay, so let's first talk about youthful offenders, because I think that's a very important topic, considering that we just had, and it's not here in Fulton, maybe Baltimore or somewhere, where there were 3 very young, and leave by the face, very young boys that robbed a bank.
11, 13, and 16, I believe, were the ages.
Right.
And if you don't understand what that means, we talking about 5th graders, 6th graders, 11 years old. My daughter is 9. She in the 3rd grade. That's still elementary school.
Elementary.
You know what I'm saying? 13. My son is 13. That is 7th grade. You got 7th graders out here knocking off banks.
The bank, right? And so what that tells me is that we think that this is Grand Theft Auto, right? What it tells me is that our kids think that you get 2 lives to live, right? You're not a cat. You don't get 9. Right? You don't get multiple chances, right? What it tells me is that there's a lack of understanding about what happens next, right? I think that you look at the YSL case, and you look at other cases, you look at Gunna, and you're like, hey, well, he did it, I could do it too. That's not how any of this works. That's not how any of this works. In Fulton County, well, in the state of Georgia, period, we have what they call SB 440, Senate Bill 440. And what that does is allows juveniles to be charged as adults for certain crimes, right? In Georgia, we call them the 7 deadly sins, right? Rape, murder, child molestation, armed robberies, and a couple of more, right? That allows you off rip for juvenile to say, hey, we're sitting that up the street, right? But there is a decision to be made at both stages, at the juvenile stage as a judge and the superior court stage as a judge, as whether or not we're going to allow that to take place. Right. And so I think that in considering whether or not we would like to accept the case, or deciding whether or not we would like to send the case to superior court, it's vitally important to know the background of that child. Well, what happened? Do you understand? Are you in a gang? Have you been doing this for a while? Who's guiding you? Right? Where are your parents? I think that all of those are very important questions in deciding how to handle those cases, right? I don't think it's a one size fits all. You got an armed robber, you're going straight up the road, right? It's obvious to me that we're missing something, that there's a missing link. And I think that's where the empathy comes in. It's not to give you a slap on the hand, but let me understand first, and then I can make an informed decision about that, right? You ask about my experience. My experience is that if you get a piss poor lawyer, the judge doesn't know anything else about you. The judge is not allowed to Google you. They're not allowed to consider the news reports. They're not allowed to go to the AJC and say, hey, give me some more information. They're not allowed to have ex parte communications, which means I'm only talking to your lawyer without anybody else knowing, right? And so it's important for judges to first understand, to inquire, to ask the necessary questions, because maybe you got a new public defender. Somebody in my comments said, and she's a beast in court, and I am. Not to my own horn, but I am, right? And anybody can agree that when I'm in court, all bets are off. When I'm in court, I mean, I'm going hard, right? And that's because I feel like it's important that regardless of how much money you have, they often call us a public defender, right? a public pretender. Excuse me.
I've said that.
I don't pretend. Anybody will tell you when I walk in the car, like, oh Lord, here come Miss Reed. You're right, here I come, because you know that I'm going to be transparent with you. My thing is, can you prove it? Okay, you said he did it. Where is it? Where the paperwork? Where you got some footage? What do you have? Because the Constitution doesn't say you just get to decide that he did it or not. It says you have to prove that he did it, right? And so I think that is again important. So we're talking about having empathy and asking the right questions. We're talking about ensuring that lawyers are held accountable for appropriate representation and zealous representation of their clients, whether or not you're paid or not. Oftentimes people think because you pay them, they're going to do a better job. I think that's BS. I think now I got your money. I can do what I want to do. You know, it can go either way. And so I don't think just because you're paying someone that you're getting more service, right? Public defenders, most of us are there because we love the job. We're there because we're passionate. We're there because we saw a need, right? I'm no longer at the public defender's office, but I consider myself a lifer. That's what some of us call ourselves, right? I consider myself a lifer in the PD's office. Like if somebody calls me, I give out so much free advice. I'm like, can I be private?
Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that loud. Don't say that. No, she don't. No, she don't. No, she don't. Don't call her.
It is. Don't call her. That you know. Do, and that's because I want people to know. I want you to be able to navigate the judicial process with as much ease as possible, because it comes with enough anxiety, and that's the truth, right? And so to answer that question, I believe that my experience in the community, my experience in all of these different areas of the court is what makes me a better candidate than my opponent.
That's what's up. That's what's up. King is here. He said, real question, being that you are in the judicial system. Oh, that is a good question. Okay. Being that you're in the judicial system, will you still keep that thing on you?
Oh, I mean, Georgia is an open carry state. And so you can do whatever you want to do. And so you can come over here if you want to. Now, I'm just saying, you know,
she said, I'm not the lady that he tried to jump over there. Yeah.
I am still from the west side. You know what I'm saying? So, absolutely. Like, I think that it's important that we protect ourselves, right? And if the law allows it, then we're moving forward, right? And so I think that.
How do you feel about the open carry laws in Georgia? Do you think that it's too easily accessible for us to be able to get guns? What is your personal position on
that?
Not
likewise, I think it's a little bit too easy. You know, I definitely got kids with guns that shouldn't be, right? I mean, I think there was you know, you look and you see these young kids pulling out. It's like, how you get that? Who said that? Where you get that from? Right? And so that obviously tells me that there's a lot of guns on the street that shouldn't be, right? But at the same time, I think that it is necessary for as we continue to see an increase in crime and an increase in mass shootings, it is likewise important that we are able to protect ourselves with handguns. Now, do we need AK-47s? Do you need, you know, AR-15s at all times?
Banana clips,
choppers. If you're go forth, right? Go forth and prosper. But do you need to keep one in the trunk of your car? Now that I disagree with. Can you keep one in your home for protection? Absolutely. I think that's perfectly fine. And so I support it. I support being able to own guns. I think that it's just a matter of being responsible gun owners as opposed to no gun owners at all.
Okay. Well, since we're talking about it, let's talk about some of the cases that we had, because you brought up the YSL case. Let's talk about some of the cases that have been kind of, you know, big around Atlanta or around the country or whatever that we've seen and heard about. Right now in Atlanta, the ones that everybody's talking about is one, the YSL case. And look, let me preface this. I ain't been following it. I don't know who none of them folks is. I'm not into that. That's not my bag. I am green when it comes to that. Okay. I had to ask my husband, what is a bando? Because when jumping at the bando and the mando.
I know it as a wing spot on MLK.
And kill them and knock them down all the time. But my husband was like, it's an abandoned building. So I'm really green when it comes to that. But I do feel I'm a little on both sides of the fence. One, there is a freedom of speech, and I should be able to say whatever I want to say in my music. But at the same time, if I can cooperate with you saying with some real life stuff that kind of happened, is it music or is it snitching? So, what's your position on this?
I think That's the key, right? Obviously, I have some prosecutor friends, having been in this, in this area for a while, and like, I think this is wrong. How dare you? You can't use these, right? But at the same time, to your point, it's like, well, if I can correlate that, you're writing a tell-all book about, it's like, okay, well, maybe I can connect the dots, and there's something there, right? And so I think that again, you gotta kind of realize that real life sometimes bleeds into court, right? And you got to be conscious of that. I think that a YSL case talking about efficiency is now, what I just read yesterday, one of the longest trials in Georgia's history, right? Or the longest trial in Georgia history.
Really?
Right? And that's
how many days are they at now?
now
Does anybody know?
It's a lot. They've been going since summer. It took them at least like 6 months to pick a jury. So it has been extensive, right? And that's because there's some delays due to court, some delays due to jurors, some delays due to parties being sick or clients being sick,
and just some of the antics going on,
and just some of the antics, period.
Yeah,
right. And so some of these things you can't control. A lot of them you can't. Right, you can't control everything, but you can control some. As a judge, you control what you can. Right, I can't control whether or not a defendant gets sick. I can't control whether or not he gets picked up on another charge because something happened at the jail. Right, that's now delaying this. I can't. I think I read yesterday that the juror had an interview. Right, again, we're not trying to.
What you mean, like a job interview?
I don't know what kind of interview. It just said he had an interview. Right, and so there was a delay. I couldn't say what the interview was for. I don't know. I don't know. But at the end of the day, there's some things you can control and some things you cannot. And even as a juror, I'm sure it's very frustrating. Like, when do I get to go home, right? And then we're here today, and it takes us 3 hours because the lawyers, what we can see on YouTube, they're working, but the jurors don't know what's happening because they're in the back because they're not allowed to participate in that process, right? And so there are a lot of delays, stop and go, some things we can't control as a judge, and some things you just cannot because life happens, right? And so YSL is a very interesting case on a number of levels. It's very layered, right? You have those defendants that can't afford, right? You have an attorney who represents one who was just in court and all over the news because she's like, I'm a public defender. I'm the only one here that's being paid by the state of Georgia. Everybody else is private. So I think they're all right, but I'm not. Like, I got mouths to feed, right? I have to be able to make more money. And so again, I think that the longer this YSL case goes on, the more layered you will see how the judicial system intertwines with everyday life. For sure.
Okay, so another big one that everybody's talking about is and I'm y'all probably work around each other, one of your colleagues, right? Fani Willis. Okay, so for the people who don't really understand what this case is about and and what's going on here, can you explain, just give your overview of what the case is and your thoughts on that?
For sure. Well,
again, she ain't on this case.
It's at all. I don't even work in Fulton County.
At all.
I don't even work in Fulton County. Not associated at all. Outside of running for Fulton County Superior Court Judge vote May 21st. But seriously, what that case is about is Donald Trump, right? What they've attempted to do is make it about Fani Willis and her relationship with a coworker, which appears to be an attempt to take away from the facts and circumstances of the case, which I think is the judge's job, to ensure that we are not mixing what's happening outside with what's happening inside the case, right? But what the defense's position is, and I take no position right, wrong, or indifferent because I am a defense attorney, and so I understand where they're coming from, right? And I have an obligation to zealously defend my client by all means, right? And if I believe that there is something being done by the district attorney's office that may negatively impact my client's case, then it's my job to bring it up before the court, and it's the court's job to decide whether or not they agree or disagree with me, right? And so as the state, they likewise have an obligation to say, hey, what I did here has absolutely no bearing on my ability to determine the facts of this case, to determine whether or not the facts fit the crime alleged. And if I can do both, then that's sufficient, right? And so Judge Scott McAfee had the duty and the responsibility to, after listening to all the evidence, to decide, hey, this is how I feel, right? This is not how I feel, but based on the law and fact, I believe that this fact went here, this went here, and it did not appear that he felt like there was enough to disqualify her because he did, right? He did not disqualify her. But what he said was that what I think will make this a little easier is if one of y'all get off the case. Right. And I understand that Mr. Wade from Public Information decided to resign on that very same day, which I think was very noble. So we can just get back to the business of the court. And the business.
But now the Trump administration is trying to take it a little bit further, right? Aren't they going right back after her again and trying to get her off of it too now? Still
definitely taking it, a step further.
Yeah,
right?
They're appealing it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
To be expected.
Attention, right? Going, dog, Candy, don't look at me. Like, oh, okay. Look at her.
Absolutely, and to be expected, right? Because as a defense attorney, I'm going all the way to the bank. We're going hard until I get to the Supreme Court because that's what you're paying me to do. You're paying me to represent you and to break this case down brick by brick, piece by piece. We don't always win at trial. We win by small motions, right? A motion to suppress this, or a motion to suppress that, or a temporary motion to allow me to keep my kids. So whatever the case may be, or we're talking about a civil case, goodness gracious, I just drew a blank trying to have this conversation with you.
It's early in the morning. I understand.
Okay, and so what we're able to do is say, hey, we're going to stop this for right now, right? We're going to ensure that a restraining order, Lord, and not a restraining order in the way that you think that it's a
TPO.
TPO. Like, it's not a protective order, but a restraining order that says you are restrained from doing this. You cannot move any more money. You are restrained from doing this. You cannot sell the business. And so all of those things come into play when we're talking about defending or being a plaintiff. Either way, everybody has a role in the court and everybody has a job to do. And so in the Fonnie Willis case, the defense was trying to say, hey, your extra relationship over here on the side has everything to do with how you're handling this case. And Fonnie's position was it has absolutely nothing to do with it. Like, we still went with the facts. We applied the facts to the law and believed that he should have been indicted. And that's what we went forward with. And now it's in the jury's hands when we pick one to determine whether or not they agree or disagree. And that's what the Constitution says.
So I like to pull some, from the way back machine, right? You've been doing this for about 20 years. This happened within that 20 years of you being around. What do you think about the Brian Nichols case?
Oh Lord.
History. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, because I have a friend. I really do. I have a friend. Shout out Alex. Hey, Alex in Wonderland. She says whenever she goes to vote and she doesn't like the candidates that they've chosen, if she can write it in, she write in Brian Nichols.
Oh, come on, we got to do better. We have to do better.
I'm just telling you what she said. Look, I'm just here to be for the people and to tell you what the people doing and saying. So, and she says it's because if you really go through and read his manifesto, she kind of understood where he was coming from with certain things. I'm not saying I agree with her or don't agree with her. I'm just telling you what my friend do. So, in your position, what do you think of the Brian Nichols case? For those people who don't know what it was and what happened and everything, go ahead and give us a little overview and what you think on it.
All right. Well, at that time, I was not in Fulton County Superior Court at that time. I was down in juvenile.
Okay.
But we all got the message like everybody else, right? And so what I think happened was, just to be honest, was we were just very lax. Right, Brian Nichols was in there on what I believe to be a rape case, maybe, and he's very cordial. He was very charismatic, right? He had a lot of personality and was able to make friends. I'm using friends very loosely with the sheriff deputies, with everyone, right? And so, as I understand it, there are holding cells. There are holding cells inside the courtroom. So when we bring people over from Wright Street, you go into a holding cell. That's where you sit all day long, right on the side of the courtroom. And it was in that holding cell that he was able to take down a female deputy who didn't have a lot of assistance at that time, right? And her guard was down. And he was able to take away from her some of her service weapon, as well as gain access to other areas in the courthouse, right? That allow him to leave the building very quickly before anyone could actually reach him, right? Which is when he gets to the parking deck, which is very close to the courthouse. And he was able to take another car, and he was able, to shoot a couple of judges inside the courthouse. And again, I think that was we're just lax. Right? Not that everybody wasn't doing their job, but the judge, sometimes you allow the charisma to overtake your intellect, right? I want to be nice, right? Empathy going too far, compassion going a little bit too far, right? First and foremost is protect yourself, right? And I think that is a place where the sheriff's department at that time was lacking. And they have made significant changes, right? And if you bring up Ryan Nichols in their courthouse around the sheriff deputy, they might chop your neck off.
Really?
Because, they are at a point now, they're like, that's old. We're done with that. Like, and it's something that is very embarrassing. It's like a scarlet letter for the sheriff's department, right? Because
he got out.
He got out, right? He got out.
He got out,
and he was able to stay out for several days, right? Take somebody else hostage, and I think we're still trying to figure out if he knew that the last day, because she went to the grocery store and came back, so I'm not really sure what was going on there. But at the end of the day, I think that people have, or the staff there had become a little loose, a little complacent about how to handle certain situations. And I think that gave Brian Nichols some leverage, and he utilized every leverage and every piece of charismatic bone he had in his body. And he was able to use that to his advantage. And that too was one of the largest cases in Fulton County. It broke the county, it broke the state budget for public defenders at that time. And I think it's a learning lesson for us all, and has been a learning lesson for everyone involved on how to handle those type of cases moving forward, how to protect ourselves, and how to handle the budget when trying to represent clients in those type of situations, because he was represented by a public defender.
So let's talk about that. When you say that it broke the budget, so what does that mean for any other cases coming forward? Is that what you're saying about the backlog? Would that slow up other cases from being able to come to court, because now we've used all our money on this case?
And so I think that's what caused problems. I think that using then, and so now you have to make a conscious decision. The legislature, when giving budgets, and the state public defender's office, and requesting money for the budget, you have to consider some of these things, right? You have to consider high profile cases if they can't afford one. Now, we don't know who's going to come down the pipeline with a high profile.
Right. We don't know who's about to mess up.
They didn't know that the YSL case would take 2.5 years to complete, right? But you got a public defender on that case, and you have to continue to pay this person, right? And those type of things that you can't plan for, but you hope that you have enough in the budget to pay for it, right? And then when there are cases like this that comes up and you're not able to pay for it, it causes problems, right? That's why the public defender that is assigned to one of the YSL defendants came to court and said, hey, I want to get off, because the PD's office is not able to pay me enough money to continue to stay on this case for 2 years. We're here every day. I can't take any other cases. What else, right? And the PD is like, oh, well, we don't have no more money for you, right? We don't have no more money in the budget to continue to.
So now she just has to do it pro bono?
Oh, it's not pro bono, but yes, I think they're going to try to, potentially work through trying to get her more money. But at the moment, the answer is you sign a contract, and what I understood in watching and hearing from YouTube is that she signed a contract to represent this person for this amount of money. Again, not realizing that this would take 2 years of her time and she wouldn't be able to take other cases. And now we're just kind of here, and the case is growing. And now you have to work through that in real time, because we weren't prepared for a 2.5-year criminal trial. Right. And so now we have to navigate that new terrain in a very innovative way to ensure that she is paid, to ensure that defendant gets the proper representation. Right. Because what turns out, to your point, is like, so now I'm sure the defendant's sitting there like, so what, you ain't gonna do nothing?
Especially right? If you have a defendant that's not helping his case, or because we seeing them do some crazy stuff. Because how did old boy get on the stand and say, hey man, I'm high right now, can I get some water? Wait a minute.
Well, he was a witness. So you try to tell your witnesses to come, and do the best they can. But again, you get your victims, your defendants, and your witnesses as they come. This is who they are. This is what I got to work with. You don't get to pick your victims, your witnesses, or your defendants. This is the word that they give us. This is what you got to work with.
Whoo, honey, baby. Yes, look. PB&J Blurt said, ooh. I'm with you, baby. Like, whoo, this is a lot. This is a lot. So I'm really enjoying this. We need to go to a quick commercial break again. But again, tell us, when are we supposed to vote?
Vote April 29th. And in my comments, they wanted me to make sure that you understand that only Fulton County residents can vote for a Fulton County judgeship. Only Fulton County residents can vote for the Fulton County District Attorney. Only the Fulton County residents can vote for a Fulton County Sheriff, right? And so only residents of Fulton County are allowed to vote for my race as Fulton County Superior Court Judge. And early voting starts on April 29th, and the election is on May 21st. If you want to vote early, you can at the Fulton County Government Center, the Adamsville Recreation Center, and a number of other locations around the county. If you live in North Fulton, there's somewhere for you to vote there. You're living in Sandy Springs, Alpharetta, South Fulton, wherever. But
is unincorporated Fulton County a part of it as well?
Yes. So unincorporated Fulton County is no longer a thing. They are now the city of South Fulton. And so the city of South Fulton is a city in Fulton County. And so you too are able to vote for Fulton County judges, elections, or whatever the case may be. Fulton County commissioners, Fulton County Sheriff's Department, Fulton County Tax Commissioner. Shout out to DeJuan Robinson, Fulton County, everything, right? You're allowed to vote for those, and voting is on May 21st. If you wait until May 21st to vote, then you are required to vote at your assigned polling location, and you need to find out where that is by going online.
So let's go over some of these cities again that are in Fulton County, because you said Sandy Springs, and I wouldn't have thought Sandy Springs was Fulton County.
Oh, we go all the way to Alpharetta, Johns Creek, all the way down to Fairburn. So it's a very large county, right? Very large. So we're talking Alpharetta, Johns Creek, Sandy Springs, Roswell, East Point, College Park, Union City, Fairburn, Georgia, City of Atlanta. All of those are all in Fulton County. Fulton County is one of the largest counties in the state of Georgia, next to Gwinnett. And I think we're neck and neck.
Okay. And so how many different positions or how many different Superior Court judges do they have for this whole county?
20.
And there's only one seat open out of 20?
Well, there are multiple seats where let me say this. So
let us know.
So there are my friend said from Milton to Palmetto. So
where is Milton?
You said, thank you, Nathan Hayes. So Milton, Georgia is a part of it's places where you don't even know that are a part of Fulton County that have the right and the responsibility to vote. And Chattahoochee Hills, right? Palmetto are all parts of Fulton County. Very large range, very rural, the city, everything. It's a very large county, right? And all of us need to be engaged and have a responsibility to get out and vote. I just lost track of what.
How many different judges and how many positions are open?
There are about 14 judges that are up. Right, there are maybe 12 judges that are up currently for re-election. There are no open seats. When we say open, that means somebody's leaving, and now I get to run. Right. Well, there are only 2 seats that are being opposed. Right, that is my seat, and then a seat, another one. Right, and so there are about 3 people running in the other seat, and just me, and then incumbent in the seat that I'm running for. And when we say open, it's not open. We're trying to take them out of their seat. Again, open means they're retiring, they're leaving,
they passed away.
They passed away, and now it's open. Well, if they pass away in the middle of a term, the governor gets to appoint. Right, until it's time to go into an election. Right. And so if someone decides to retire or someone passes away in the middle of a term, the governor has the authority to appoint to ensure that seat is filled until the people can begin to re-elect. Right. The person of their choosing. And at that point, everyone has a right to jump in the race. Right. And so, again, my seat is not open. I have decided to take or attempt to take the seat of an individual who is currently seated and wants to remain in that position. Right. So she's not leaving. She's not stepping down. She is likewise challenging me to see how many people we can both get to the polls. And I need 50 plus 1%.
50 plus 1. 50 plus 1. What do the elections tend to look like or the turnout? That's the question I'm asking. What does the turnout tend to look like for these elections?
I'm glad you asked that. Let's be honest. And so the term is for 4 years, right? And so the last election for this particular seat was in 2020, right? In 2020,
and we know what was going on in 2020. Y'all definitely didn't go out to vote.
Did not. Right?
Y'all definitely didn't show up to vote in 2020.
Did not show up to vote in 2020. We were talking about we were in the middle of COVID, right? And so my opponent ran unopposed. It's her first time running opposed. I'm the first one to say, you know what? I think that I may have the experience necessary to get the job done, right? And so with that being said, let's say that there are 50,000 people that come out to vote. About 15,000 people based on data voted for the judgeship. So that means that people go in the booth, click the sheriff, click the DA, and then walk out on the judges. Right. And we can see that, right? There's a data.
You don't have to pick all of them.
No,
you don't have to.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
I think once I get in there and I start seeing names, I'm going until it's done.
No, man. People be like, I don't know any of these people. I'm leaving. I came here to vote for Joe Biden. I'm out of here, right? I came here to vote for Nikema Williams. I'm done, right? And so
I had her in here before. I've interviewed her.
Good.
Yes, I've interviewed her before.
That's why it's important, because if you don't know to look for Brandy Reeves, if you don't look for Brandy with an I, then you're like, I'm done. I did what I came here to do.
The other person, her name ain't Brandy.
It's definitely not Brandy.
Oh, okay, because you keep saying with an I, and I'm like, oh God, I hope it's not a Brandy with an I and a Brandy with a Y.
I just want you to remember that you're looking for the I, because there will be an I next to her name because she's the incumbent, and I don't want you to get it mixed up with the I next to my name because my name is Brandy with an I, right?
Okay.
And so again, that's the way it's set up in the ballot. On the ballot, her name will have an I next to it because they want you to know she's already there. You know, and that oftentimes gives people the upper hand, right? And so it's important that we get the word out that I am on the ballot, right? Because if you don't know that I'm there, then you are more likely to walk out after you finish whatever business you thought you came there to handle, unless you make a conscious effort to go all the way down the ballot, look for the judgeships, which are vitally important to your everyday life, right?
Everyday life.
By the time Nikema Williams gets the memo, gets the legislation, it's something that happened at the local level that got us there, right? And so that's why these local elections are very important. You know who's on the ballot on local elections, and you run to the bottom of the ballot to ensure that those local individuals are present, accounted for, and you're able to hold them accountable.
Bet. All right, we're going to go ahead and go to this commercial break, but this is a chance for y'all to drop your questions in the comment section. Again, we are reading through them and we are answering them. We have another about 10-15 minutes with Miss Brandy, and we're going to just continue to have this conversation with her. I really do appreciate you coming in, because I mean, this is definitely insightful, because the biggest thing of it is that, yes, go out and vote, but please know who you are voting for. Absolutely. Is this person in line with your views? Does this person care about your community? Does this person have empathy? Are they smart? Look, we've been known to hire some people who ain't necessarily qualified for the job. They ain't necessarily job materials. You know what I'm saying? So let's try to make sure going forward we putting people in positions that deserve to be in those positions, or we're allowing people to stay in positions that should stay in those positions. All right. So we're gonna go to a quick commercial break. We're gonna play some music, and when we get back, I have a couple more questions for Brandy just to talk about. You know, I would be remiss if we didn't bring up cannabis, because as much as we are cannabis, not only connoisseurs but also cannabis advocates right here in the state of Georgia, we also need to know where our judges lie on it, because you know y'all get tickets. We're gonna talk about it. This is All Hustle, No Fear right here on Hits 92.3, the real definition of internet radio. Here is Willie Hen, Ken the Misfit, and Miss Sonia Williams. Y'all know I love this song.
All right, so Slim, you still got the range. Alright, Sonya playing what up though? Ken the Misfit, what up though? Yeah.
2-eye, bitch. 2-eye, 2-eye, bitch. 2-eye, 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 bitch. What? 2-eye, 2-eye, bitch. 2-eye, 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 bitch. What?
I'm in the clouds when I'm with you. Girl, what's your name? I hope this don't offend you. It tastes like cocaine. I didn't think I'd get it. I get so high. Now I'm feeling for you, baby. Where's the lie?
Roses of wine, out of blue. This feels like love,
Ribbons in the sky, they fall on you. This feels like love, like love.
Boy, I send you out of reach when I ride on it. What you lacing in my weed? Put my life on my life. Well, you know just what to do. Baby, I can't wait to get to you.
It's a vibe and a function. Is that tribe or something? Where this shit was by dead, girl. Till I end up coming out rap like I signed a dungeon. Yeah, like big boy Dre now. Try to kinda look like Bay now. I'ma shoot my shot like Jay now. Shit, I shoot like right now. Home team girl like straight now. On God, let the Lord make a way now. If you scared, go to church like gay now. But ain't scared, I'm with a DJ now. She said I pass on the heart, we can blade now. But I like them blocks, okay now. Shit, I'll shade them. I said, girl, your love is so guitar. Now let me play on that. I play your favorite song, God Clash, let me stay on that. I knew it was a smash when I featured Sonya Blade on that. 4 years later, caught her up and hit replay on that. Girl, I had you spending all your funds. Hit you with this rock and you think that I'm cheating Peter Gunn. Say some shit like, nigga, did you smoke crack before you came over? You remind me of my G, but I got Range Rovers. Dog that pussy, I don't really care, I just want you to come around my way. I never got a lot of mouth that'll make you scream, God, find your face, ain't he good? Yeah, think I like it better around my face. Get your top 8, I think I like it better around my space. Tano, anyway, white lines, black gloves, opposites attracting here. I just brought the pack in here, and I brought this hard drive computer, don't get hacked in here. 2-eye tribe on God, Blade, we snapped in here. Willie and baby.
Roses of wine, out of blue. This feels like love, like love.
Ribbons in the sky, they fall on you. This feels like love, like love.
Boy, I send you out of reach when I ride on it. What you lacing in my weed? Put my life on my life. Well, you know just what to do. Baby, I can't wait to get to you.
It's a
Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is All Hustle, No Fear on Hits 92.3. And every morning you wake up with us because we rock your mic.
Mm-hmm. How big is your mic, Sunshine?
Big enough to interview you with.
Where my tokers at? Let's put some smoke in the air. This Saturday, we're puffing and painting. Visit Art in Spark to reserve your seats for our next sesh. And you already know your favorite host with the most, the Hood Unicorn, will be in the building. Follow Art in Spark on Instagram to see this week's masterpiece. Puff, pass, bring in a friend. Make sure you can sit together with our new reserved seating. Pick your painting spot from our seat map at checkout. But don't wait. Make sure you reserve yours before they're gone. Visit www.artspark.com for more information. That's Art and Spark on Instagram and www.artandspark. Commercial being played. We definitely want to bring up a subject that we talk about here all the time. So every Thursday on All Hustle No Fear, we bring up cannabis news, cannabis advocacy, and we are of those people who believe that cannabis is one of those things that as a person you should be able to have the right to partake as you need be. Okay, I definitely feel like if you are a child, if you are under the age of 21, then this is not 21 kind of weird for me, and only because I feel like if you can go to war and die for me, then if you need to smoke a cigarette or you need to smoke a cigarette, then you should be you know, I'm just saying, but 21 to be legal, to be able to consume cannabis and not have to worry about the repercussions from it, whether it's somebody trying to take your kids away, you going to jail, you losing your job. As a prosecutor, as a defender, as a potential and future judge, what is your position on cannabis and just the state of Georgia and what we're doing? And let's let the people know some things that they can take away from this that might possibly help them.
Well, I think that well, first of all, I think as a judge, we all bring our own experiences, right? I mean, as a judge, as a juror, as whomever, right? You bring your own experiences and what you believe in, what you believe is right, and what you believe is wrong. But as a judge, it's my duty, and it will be my duty to uphold the law, whatever that is, right? Because I don't get to make them, right? What I do get to do is enforce them if that is brought before me. And so what I appreciate and what I like and is the ability of municipalities to set the tone, right? Because the federal government has said this is illegal, right? That's what it is right now. And then different states, Georgia being specific, is one of those states that agrees that this should be illegal, right? But then you have more progressive cities like City of Atlanta, City of East Point that's getting there to a point where they're saying, hey, we recognize that possession of marijuana less than an ounce, not that big of a deal, right? In the city of Atlanta, what we're going to do is we're going to write you a citation and release you on a copy of charges for $75, right? We're not going to take you to jail because we recognize that if we take you to jail, then here we are with ensuring that, one, you got to pay a bond, right? So you don't need to go to jail. Now you got to pay the bond. Now you got to pay the bonds company. And now you have to potentially lose your whole livelihood for a joint. Right? I don't believe that people should be sent to prison for possession, right? I don't believe that you should be sent to prison for having an ounce of marijuana, right? If that's your personal use. Now, when you get into talking about pushing pounds and kilos of weed and dope and cocaine,
you got baggies
and fentanyl that it has been proven to kill and destroy our community, then that's when we're moving into a different realm, right? That's when we're talking about the stakes have risen, right? And so I think that there's a lot of research and technology that has shown us that there are some benefits to marijuana, right? There are some benefits to cataracts, there's some benefits to cancer, there's some benefits to Alzheimer's, there's some benefits to decreasing the level of pain that one is in with CBD and marijuana and some of these other things. And so I think that oftentimes as a state and legislatures, we get caught up in something you said, how are we going to regulate the cost of these things? What money do we get out of it? I mean, are we taxing? And so I likewise think that has a lot to do with why things have not progressed further. I likewise think us being in the Bible Belt. It wasn't until recently we started selling liquor on Sunday.
Baby.
Right? You know what I'm saying? And so I think that is also a hindrance in why Georgia is a little less progressive in the realm of marijuana possession, is that we're still kind of hung up on the days of old.
So right now in let's use Fulton County, right? Because we said we have all these other municipalities within Fulton County, right? What is the actual law for Fulton County if you get pulled over by a police officer? What is supposed to happen? Because we know that, let's be honest, depending on the cop, really depend on what's going to happen to you in some situations. Depending on whether or not you know the law, depends on what can happen to you in some situations. So we have seen things that said that you can't, as a police officer, you can't say, oh, it smells like marijuana, or I think I smell marijuana, so I can use that as a what they call it,
probable cause.
Yeah, I can use that as probable cause. You know, what are the laws? What are things that we can take away from this and say, okay, well, Brandy said I'm okay, that this is the law, this is true, and this ain't just Sunshine looking up stuff and telling y'all. We got it from a future judge.
For a fact, raw marijuana is the probable cause that gives officers the right to search more, right? Because that says it's still in the car. Burnt marijuana, no. Like your earrings, that smell like you burnt the blunt. That's not the case, right? Because potentially that's gone, right? You have to be in the process of committing a crime, right? And so if they smell burnt marijuana, they're not allowed to. What they'll often say is that I smelled an odor of raw marijuana. Because if I smell an odor of raw marijuana, that means that there is still a crime in commission.
But how can you tell the difference between raw and...
Oh, you can tell the difference. Oh, you can tell the difference in raw and burnt weed. And so I can assure you that anywhere other than if you get pulled over by a state trooper in the city of Atlanta, he probably won't take you to jail. But you're going to get a bond immediately, right? APD officer, no. They're going to write you a ticket. Okay. But marijuana is illegal, right? And so again, it's the city of Atlanta that has put stopgaps in place. Nobody else, right? Okay. And so again, if you get caught with weed, you likely may go to jail, right? If you happen to get caught with marijuana by a city of Atlanta police officer, you're likely not go to jail because again, we put this in place where you're going to get a $75 ticket. But again, marijuana is illegal. So if you get caught with marijuana in Fulton County, less than an ounce, more than an ounce, you're going to Fulton County jail, right? Depending on, right? Oftentimes you likewise in the city of Atlanta, if you get caught with marijuana less than an ounce, you're going to the city jail. Right, because we have jurisdiction over those city ordinance. But if there's anything more than that, then that's a state charge, and you're going to Fulton County 901 Rice Street, off Bankhead.
So even if you get caught with, let's say, less than an ounce of cannabis, right, and you have a gun on you.
Oh yeah, you're going to jail.
Okay.
Yeah, you're going to Rice Street.
Okay. I'm asking this for a reason because y'all need to know this. Y'all really need to know this because there's a lot of people walking around because we have open carry laws. So it's a lot of people right now walking around with your gun on you and you got a joint. And I be trying to tell y'all, yeah, you want to have your pew 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 on you, but you can't. And at the same, like you gotta protect yourself. As far as things like psilocybin, mushrooms. How does the city feel about mushrooms and vape pens?
None of those have been included. So all that's illegal. You get caught with a mushroom, you're going to jail. There's no ticketing. There's none of that. You're going to jail. All right.
Y'all hear this, right?
And so if you get caught in possession of a controlled substance, you're going to jail. Right.
Okay.
That is a state charge immediately. No city ordinances. There are no games to be played. Right. You will be indicted for felonies. Okay, possession of marijuana less than an ounce is a misdemeanor, which means 1 day up to 12 months in custody. Anything over an ounce of marijuana or anything outside of marijuana is considered to be on different schedules of controlled substances, and those are felony cases. And so those are in the jurisdiction of the Fulton County Superior Court or whatever county you live in. The Superior Court of that county has jurisdiction over those cases.
And just to make sure we're clear, that includes vape pens and edibles.
Vape pens, edibles, all of those things absolutely are considered to be illegal.
We have one more question here that we can get out before we have to go because our time is up. It was so funny because Condi said, what are y'all gonna talk about for 2 hours? I said, Condi, you have no idea, baby. I've got things to say. Like we can talk, okay? Trust me, there's questions to be had. Greg said, what are your thoughts on mandatory sentence and sentencing discretion? And we'll let that be the last one. And after that, please just go ahead and give us your campaign. Like, hit your soapbox.
Absolutely. I think that mandatory sentencing puts judges in a very difficult position, right? Because they're mandatory minimum. So armed robbery is a mandatory minimum 10. So you tell me, oh my God, I robbed, you know, the old lady, because my wife was back here having a baby. We ain't had no car, so I had to hijack the lady to get her to the hospital, right? Well, if the DA is not willing to reduce those charges, regardless of the circumstance for which you committed that crime, the only thing I can sentence you is to a minimum of 10 years in prison. It's armed robbery. That is all we have. Now, if they're willing to reduce it to a robbery, now I have discretion. Now the world is mine on whether or not I want to give you probation, I want to give you 10 or 20, or whatever that case may be. But mandatory minimums are put in place to hog tie the judges to a decision. Now, I can give you the mandatory minimum of only 10, or I can give you 20. Right. So that is the only discretion I have, but you're gonna get the 10, and the 10 is door to door. The 10 is without probation. The 10 is non-parolable when we're talking about mandatory minimums, right? So
it's not do 60% of your time.
No. Oh no. And life, when we're talking about murder, murder carries life.
And that's 35 years minimum, right? 30. Okay.
30 minimum before you're eligible for parole, if you're eligible, right? So in criminal, we call it LWOP. LWOP means life without the possibility of parole, right? And so murder, you can get LWOP, or you can just get life without the possibility of parole, or life with the possibility of parole. If you have the possibility of parole, that just means you get to ask in 30 years. Don't mean you're getting it. It just means you get to turn the paperwork at that time, right? You can't even turn the paperwork until 30
you do your 30.
Until you do your 30, right? And so again, it's very important that you know what's happening, and you understand the consequences of your actions, because you don't get second chances, right? There's nothing the judge can do for you in some of these cases, right? There's nothing, right? There's no mama, there's not enough crying your mama can possibly do to come into my courtroom if I'm elected a judge and say, can you give my baby 5? Not if he's being indicted and charged with armed robbery. I can't, man. What I can give him is 10.
And so if you did armed robbery and you committed it against 2-3 different people, that's different charges each time.
Multiple.
So that means that's 30 each time, or that's 10 each time.
Well, we can give you, a mandatory 10, but now I have the ability to give you up to 10 to 20, 20, 40, 60, right? Up to 60 years, but at least a mandatory 10. Right.
Wow.
You're going for 10. So we can give it to you consecutively, or I can give it to you together concurrently. Right. And so if I say you're going to do 10 consecutively, then you got 30 of them
on your head.
You got 30, 60, 90. When you're talking about somebody got life plus 30, that means you apply for 30. You have 30 years before you can even apply, but then you also got the extra 30 on top of that. So you got 60 years before you're even in a position to ask to get out.
Basically, your soul in jail.
Period.
Your soul in jail. Your soul in jail. So before we get out of here, I want to give you one of my toothbrushes. Thank you for coming to All Hustle No Fear. No, this is an All Hustle No Fear toothbrush, so you can keep my name in your mouth. It's an early morning show. Everybody else give out mugs and stuff. I had to, be a little different. You see that? So while you're keeping my name in your mouth, I want them to keep your name in their mouth. Tell them everything they need to know about Brandy so that they can get out and vote. When? May 21st, but early voting starts on April 29th. I was about to say 24th.
April 29th.
I'm early. I'm trying to get there ASAP.
Get there. Beat me there. Don't meet me there. Okay. I appreciate it. But ladies and gentlemen, I am Brandy Reeves. I am running for Fulton County Superior Court Judge. I am from Fulton. I am for Fulton. I have decided to raise my children here in Fulton County because Fulton County has given so much to me. I have practiced in almost every court in Fulton County. I have experience in almost every area of the law that is under the jurisdiction of Fulton County Superior Court. That is family law, that's child support, that's divorce, that's child custody, that is felonies, that's murders, rapes, child molestations, that's misdemeanors, possessions less than an ounce, simple batteries, aggravated assault. I'm in the community. I participate in community service events. I give back to the high schools around the city of Atlanta. I am a product of Atlanta Public Schools. I am a product of Fulton County Schools. I have the experience. I have the knowledge. I have the compassion. I have the empathy. I have the intellect. And one thing I am committed to, and one thing I can assure you, is that at the end of the day, if you come in my courtroom, you will have my ear. I will listen. I will have the compassion. I will have the fairness. I will be firm, but fair. Now, I will uphold the law. I will hold both your lawyer and the other lawyers accountable. There is from Bankhead to Buckhead, from Alpharetta to Atlanta, from Milton to wherever else. Palmetto. Okay, thank you. You can be assured, you can rest assured that you will have your day, whether or not you're a victim, whether or not you're the accused, that I will be fair and I will be firm. I will ensure that you get your day in court, that the process will be efficient and it will be proficient so that you can piece your life back together regardless of what side you're on. And if you're a lawyer, so you can go to the next courtroom and get your dollar. Right. And so on May 21st, I asked for your vote. On April 29th, if you vote early, I asked for your vote. My website is www.brandyforfulton.com. I am Brandy for Fulton on all platforms. That's Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter. And so again, I ask for your vote. I ask for your support. That is yard signs. That's volunteers. That's donations, ladies and gentlemen. We need money to get the word out that I am running, that I am the best candidate, and more importantly, for you all to vote all the way down the ballot. Well, you can skip a couple. Just make sure you go to mine, okay? Just make sure that you find my name on the ballot on May 21st or April 29th. If you decide to vote early, I ask that you vote for me, Brandy Reeves, for Fulton County Superior Court Judge. Thank you for tuning in.
There we go. There we go. So, you guys, this is the end of the show, and we got to get out of here. I only have, I took my time. I claimed all my time today, okay? So, we got to get out of here. But if you are running for any position anywhere in the world, okay, I don't care if it's Australia to Alaska, I'm worldwide, and I want to give you a platform to talk to some people. So whether or not you can come into the studio or we need to do this virtually, we absolutely have the opportunity to do that. But wherever you are, wherever your community is, you need to be a part of it. You need to use your voice, because trust me, the same way you're talking about your voice don't count, somebody knows that your voice counts immensely, to the point where they're trying to silence your vote, whether or not they are gerrymandering, whether or not they are changing the district lines, whether or not they just trying to reduce your ability to vote. Do not give them that opportunity. Show them exactly who and what you are and what you stand for and what you want for your community. And the way to do that is to vote for people who are like-minded. Okay, so if you are a candidate, you are running, and you need a platform to be able to come up here and give your soapbox. Like I told Brent, this is not for me to try to trip you up and get any sound bites. I really just want to know who you are and why you running, because I sent Condi the picture. It's one of these in front of my street.
Get y'all some.
It's a yard sign right in front of my street, and I sent it to Condi. I said, "This your friend?" He said, "Yeah, that's right." The show, Condi. Send the link. Tell them come on and pull up. So next Thursday, we will be having Dr. Eddie Gordon in the building. He is running for commissioner in Clayton County, I believe. Okay. Don't make me lie. Just look for his flyer. It'll be up there. If you only caught the end of this and you want to go back and rewatch all of it, visit All Hustle No Fear on Instagram, on YouTube, and you'll be able to see it. Look for this picture. You're going to see her right there, and you can go ahead and rewatch this and share it, okay? Share it to other people in Fulton County, from Palmetto to Milton, from where?
Alpharetta
from Johns Creek. Yep, all the way from up there to down there, around there, and around the corner. Wherever it is that you are, if you are within voting ears, go ahead and send this to somebody. Make sure you tag us. She is on all social media platforms, as she said. We got to get you on TikTok.
We do.
We got to get you on TikTok.
We do.
You know what I'm saying? We got to get you on TikTok, because boy,
that's where they are.
That's where they are. And why we got a chance to use it before we lose it. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Let's do it. Let's do it. This is All Hustle, No Fear, right here on Hits 92.3, the real definition of internet radio. I'm going to play you guys out, and I'm going to play you with what? Some All Hustle, No Fear. Here we go. This is T Slick.
Storm. Hustle no fear, I come in a rush. Ain't by no money, then you gotta hush. They got me leaning like I'm on a crutch. Came out the trenches, I had to adjust. Jump off the porch, I had to go get it. Ratchet with friends, so handle my business. Go get the money as long as they put it. Calculated how I'm handling the business. Bitch in my bag, I come in a rush. Ain't by no money, then you gotta hush. They got me leaning like I'm on a crutch. Come out the trenches, I had to adjust. Jump off the porch, I had to go get it. Can't do no faking when handling business. Go get the money as long as they put it. Calculated how I'm counting the business. Moving like a wide receiver, I was out there catching plays. Started out with nothing, but I finally made